So it is currently 11:15 p.m. I listened to this conversation on my way home from visiting my mum and grandma. There was an interesting idea in it that I wanted to share with y'all. And it's a practical exercise that you can use to help design a life that you will truly love. Now, this is a conversation on a somewhat obscure YouTube channel, which is very good, so you should subscribe to it, by a chap called Michael Karnjana-Prakorn, who is the ex-founder of Skillshare, who I think sold Skillshare for a stupid amount of money. And he's interviewing a guy called Kevin Dahlstrom. And Kevin Dahlstrom is a 4 times founder, 3 times chief marketing officer, an investor in over 55 companies. He also pursues rock climbing at an elite level, all while prioritizing his family. So I love learning from people that are succeeding across all fronts, not just on the work front. And Michael says that Kevin Dahlstrom might be the most balanced person I've ever met. And he says all of this is only possible because of his ideal end state exercise. This ideal end state exercise apparently aligns your actions with your true desires and allows you to design a life that you never need to escape.
I've gone through this exercise with dozens of people, like everybody from like college kids all the way up to literally like billionaire business people. And I call it the ideal end state exercise. And it's a very simple exercise, but it's incredibly powerful. Literally, you make a bulleted list of, if you could have your ideal life, what would it look like? And you should be very specific around like what a day looks like who you're around, what you're doing, how you're feeling. Every time I've gone through this exercise with someone, it really highlights the inconsistencies between what they say they want and their actions. And often it's like pretty big inconsistencies, right? So the example that I like to use is, let's say you're a young person and you just bought a fancy car, right? You bought a Porsche 911 or something, but on your list, it doesn't say drive a fancy car. Well, that begs the question, are you being honest about what you really want, or are your actions not aligning with what you want? Because the truth is, if driving a fancy car isn't on your list, but you own one, that's probably keeping you from doing the things you really want. It's a very easy trap to fall into, because often what happens is we kind of go with the flow. Like we listen to what society says is not really what we want. We just sort of go along with it. It only takes like an hour, probably 100 people come back to me and say, wow, this was such a powerful exercise.
And I actually did the exercise in the car. I recorded it on VoicePal, which is the app that me and my business partner are building, where you essentially speak into the app and then it turns your stream of consciousness into a rough first draft. And so we're gonna sort of do this exercise for me, and then I'm gonna kind of talk through it. Would really recommend you to actually do this ideal end state exercise. So please do pause this video now if you would like to indulge this particular exercise, which I think is actually really helpful. So the ideal end state exercise. What is the sort of life that you would design if you could design whatever life you wanted? So this is the sort of stuff that I've written on my ideal end state, like bullet point list. Freedom to do whatever work I want with whomever I want and whenever I want. 4 kids, big family home, open door policy, friends and family always coming over, 2 to 3 guest rooms, private chef and housekeeper. Health is in amazing shape. I gym whenever I feel like it. I play sports every day with friends. I go on long walks, maybe do yoga. I have a deep, loving, intimate relationship with my future wife. We do relationships and couples retreats 1 to 2 times a year. I travel whenever I want, always flying business and first class. Question mark, private jet, lol. Although that's like a radically different level of wealth than I currently am, or I suspect will ever be. But there are very, very rich people I know who say that having a private jet is actually really nice because it gives you freedom of movement. It means you can visit friends and family at a moment's notice. And it's just super cool, but like, I suspect. That's why it's a question mark. And that's why I've got a lol there, because it's like, whatevs. I'd quite like to get a Porsche Taycan. That's my dream car at the moment. I'd like to write books every few years whenever I want to explore an interesting question. I have a writing buddy. I have a low barrier to publishing, and I'm not stressing out about marketing and performance of these books. I have an office and co-working space, which is walkable from home, with a team that I work with in real life, and a YouTube and podcast studio attached to the thing, and an event space where students of my courses and people that I know and stuff can hang out. We can do events and live events and things. My friends are visiting all the time. I organize an annual ski trip and surf trip and cruise maybe with friends and family where I organize and pay for everything. That would be nice if I had enough money to do that. I have regular music jam sessions with friends where we do singing and songwriting and producing songs. I continue filming videos, but only when I feel like it, like videos like this one, which is partly why I'm filming this video, because I'm like, oh, I feel like sharing this thing. Don't really care how this video is going to perform. I'm sharing it in the hope that some people will do this exercise and find it interesting. Continue filming videos, but only when I feel like it, and have a business holding company with a portfolio of small profitable businesses that's making 10 million plus profit a year. Oh yeah, I've also recently taken the 10% pledge for the business and for my personal life, which means that as a business, we are donating 10% of our profits to effective charities every year. So that's a thing that's on the list. And with a view to doing more philanthropy type stuff over time as I get older. And also, I'd really love to do live events. I'm highly inspired by the sort of setup that people like Tony Robbins have. And I just love the idea of kind of hosting like a productivity weekend seminar or doing like a one-man stage show, sort of like Jay Shetty's stage show meets Darren Brown, where I combine like my interest in magic and music and mentalism and mind reading with some like personal development-y stuff. That would be super cool to have a stage show like that and to develop it and build it and have a director for it and make it really sick and be able to tour around the world doing this sort of stage show. So this is the sort of stuff that I came up with when I came across the exercise and I did the exercise. Now I've done exercises like this in the past, but I've never just done a what does your ideal life look like, just straight up. Other exercises I found really helpful for this are what does your ideal Tuesday look like? And what does an ideal Sunday look like? But I just really like all of these sorts of journaling prompts that get at this question of what is the life you actually want? If you could design a life however you would like, what would be in it and what wouldn't be in it? And then once you do an exercise like this, essentially the idea is that you look at what your life is like currently and you look at this future ideal end state that you're trying to get to, and you figure out, okay, cool, are the actions I'm taking aligned with eventually getting me to this sort of place? And if they're not, like either it's worth changing the goal or the thing that you actually want, or it's worth changing the actions that you're taking to potentially get there. Because if you're taking actions that are not getting you to the goal you want, then, I don't know, you're just shafting yourself, I reckon. Oh, by the way, in case you've not yet subscribed to Life Notes, you might like to. It is a completely free weekly-ish email that I send, and it contains the notes that I'm taking throughout life. So notes from books that I've read, podcasts I've listened to, videos I've watched, conversations I've had, experiences I've had, and I condense all that stuff into an email that I send to my subscribers once a week. It is completely free. If you think it's terrible, you can unsubscribe whenever you want. There'll be a link down below. So yeah, that's it for this video. Pretty chill one. I'd recommend listening to this podcast. I'll put a link down below. And if you do this exercise, I would love it if you would email me. My email address is ali@aliabdaal.com. I love getting emails from people in the audience, especially when they're thoughtful. And so if you've watched this video and you've done this exercise, either leave a comment down below or drop me an email if you'd like to keep it private. So yeah, it is now 11:32 and it's way past my bedtime, but I hope it was useful that I shared this exercise, and I hope that some of you, if you're watching this, you might actually do the exercise, and I hope it'll add value to your life in the same way that it has done for mine. If you're interested in a more deeper dive on how to design your life, you might like to check out this little 3-part playlist over here somewhere. This is a 3-set series of videos where you figure out roughly where you want to go and where you are and goals and actions and plans and systems and stuff to get there. And people who have gone through that series have said that it's given them a lot of clarity on what they want to do with their life. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.